use your turn signal. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be going over the all-new 2022 Hyundai Santa Cruz. Now this particular Santa Cruz has the entry-level powertrain. Super excited to see if it's got enough punch for this little pickup truck. But first and foremost, a huge shout out and thank you to the Ken Garf Hyundai here in Southtown, Utah for giving me some time with this Santa Cruz. Check out their inventory in the link below. Let's get straight into the video. So under the hood, we have a naturally aspirated 2.5 liter 4-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 21 around town and then 27 on the highway, with power outputs being 191 horsepower and then 181 pound-feet of torque. Now let's go over the front end of the Santa Cruz. First off, this exterior color is called Blue Stone, and I think it's a really good looking color. You guys can see here in the sunlight, it does have a little bit of metallic flake in the paint. Now coming down below, we got the really cool LED accent lights that match the rest of the trim there in the grille. We do have these halogen projector bulbs, and obviously you guys know from my first Santa Cruz review that this looks very similar to the Tucson, and for obvious reasons. But yeah, overall, good looking front end. And by the way, the lights don't blink in person. That's just the frame rate from the camera. So in person, they're like solid, if that makes sense. Now coming on the side here, we've got 245mm tires wrapped around 18-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. And then you guys can see the design there on the wheels looks pretty cool. I definitely preferred the wheels on the Limited, but I mean, it's a more expensive trim, so it makes sense it gets the cooler looking wheels. But for being, you know, just above the entry-level package, I think this is a really good looking wheel for the truck. Still get the cool fender flares that have the little Santa Cruz there at the top portion, and then we've got the two-tone mirrors, so you've got the body color at the top and then the black at the bottom, and then the door handles match the plastic there on the bottom of the mirror, and then also you've got that plastic molding around the windows and then also around the bed, so it kind of like all comes together. And I'm totally gonna have to walk through a bush just to get you guys this full side view, so you're welcome, but there's your full side view. So here's our key fob for the Santa Cruz, and notice that again, even on this SEL package, we still get remote start and we still get the drop down for the tailgate. So I think that's pretty cool that they give you both of those features on this package. Now popping here into the rear, the payload capacity is 1,411 pounds. And then you guys can see that we've got the covering here for the bed, full composite bed, all that fun stuff. So yeah, instead of having exposed paint, well, we've got all this protection, so you don't have to worry about scratching things, which is definitely nice. Now we still do get the truck bed trunk. I don't know what else to call it other than that. Just like on the Limited, you've got all the drainage and all that fun stuff. We've got these struts here. That's why it's kind of like a trunk sort of situation. I don't know, kind of interesting, but I think it's pretty cool. And yeah, that's pretty much everything for the bed. And then also lifting up the tailgate, yeah, just as light as the Limited. First off, towing capacity is about 3,500 pounds. And then coming to these lights, I love the design on them. You guys can see like the arrows here integrated into the light. Looks really cool, really unique. I just absolutely love it. We've got our Santa Cruz logo there. We've got the bed steps on either side, which is another nice little thing. And then also look right here, I noticed that from yesterday, but there's another little truck right there. So yeah, pretty cool. But yeah, that's the back end. Now here's the door panel in the rear, and notice the cool kind of like texture there with that portion of the door panel. And then we've got a cup holder there, I suppose. And then you guys can see we've got these seats here on the back. So we've got these cloth seats, really cool design there in the center portion. And then I'll pop in again in case you haven't seen my first review. Legroom, a little bit on the tight side, about 6 foot. Headroom, however, is great. Like there's tons of headroom. Nothing really happening here. And well, yeah, let's head to the front. Now here's the door panel in the front with the Santa Cruz. Notice again, we've got that black trim and then you've got the metallic trim wrapped around it. And then you guys can see we've got some padding here. We're gonna rest your arm. We've got all of the window controls with the mirror adjustments. And then well, we've got a cover over the seat so you guys can see the passenger seat there. Similar design as what you get in the rear, but nicer bolstering. And you guys can see the bolstering here at the front seats. Power adjustments. And then you guys can see the pedal layout just down below. We've got this for the light, the stability control. The steering wheel is manually adjustable, and there's one more look before we pop in. Here's the steering wheel with the Santa Cruz. Nothing too fancy, right? We've got our cruise control and steering assist on the one side. We've got our voice command, volume, and phone controls on the other side. But notice material-wise, isn't nearly as nice as what you get in the Limited. But, I mean, still, it's cool that you still get a lot of the safety tech and also blind spot monitoring, people. Pretty cool stuff. So here's our center gauge cluster, and looks completely different than the Limited. Isn't like the full digital readout that you get in the Limited, but I think it still looks cool what they've done design-wise, and also goes up to 160 miles an hour with the speedometer, as if, like, good luck. That's all I gotta say. I think it's funny that they went up to 160. You could have just cut it off at like 120 or whatever. But anyways, you can see you've got the different menus you can scroll through, you know, get different bits of vehicle information. Then we do have some different drive modes. So we've got a normal, sport, smart, and snow. Same setup as what you get in the Limited, you just don't get like the cool, you know, changes, because that one again has the full digital gauge cluster. Now here's the center infotainment system. First off, we'll pop it into reverse. We've got our backup camera with trajectory lines. They turn with the steering wheel, so nice fancy stuff there. Response time with these buttons on the side is great, so that all works fine. And other than that, I mean, it's a good infotainment system. Like I said, response time's great. It's easy to use. It does come with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and it's nicely integrated into the whole dash system, so I think that's great. And then down below, I will mention we've got our climate controls. This does just have a single zone climate. Got a 12 volt here and a couple of USBs, and then some extra storage space up front. We've got the shifter for the 8-speed automatic, and then you can manually shift if you want. More cup holders right here. We've got the locker, the drive mode select. Got the hill descent control. That is for the camera to pop it on and off. Auto hold, parking brake, and then we do get heated seats, which is nice. Got the center console, which pretty normal, has some nice padding on it. And then this is actually a hard touch, but material-wise looks cool. And then design-wise, it all comes together just like what you had in the Limited, so they did good with the design. And then regular glove box right there. And then popping here to the very top, we've got a manual dimmer, normal headliner, and then fixed rear window, actually. So that's that, man. Yeah, that's all for the top. Now I've got the window sticker here with the Santa Cruz, and there's horrible glare, so you guys won't be able to really read it. All you need to know is total MSRP, $30,190, and, well, gonna have to, like, kind of step through the bush again, and yeah, let's take it out and see how it drives. Let's talk about visibility before we set off here on the Santa Cruz. There's visibility over the hood. Both the mirrors, they do have blind spot monitoring. And then throughout the rest of the rear. And let's set off. We're setting off in the Santa Cruz with the base engine. And I'm actually really excited because I want to see, you know, what you get if you know, just want to get, again, kind of like just above the entry-level package, but you don't really want to also pay for the money that is associated with getting the bad boy engine. And first off, you do notice a slight difference at low speeds with the torque, right? The turbocharged 2.5 liter definitely feels a lot torqueier. And then getting up here and going, that's where you notice the biggest difference is when you're kind of like really getting up and moving. This just doesn't have that same grunt, being naturally aspirated at higher elevation, and then on top of that, just having quite a bit less power and torque. That being said though, this engine would be a great engine for kind of just like around town driving if you're not having to get up to super high speeds. But that being said, I'll pop it over into the sport mode for our acceleration here, and also doesn't have the cool turn signal cameras that the fully loaded one has, but you know what, it is what it is. Use your turn signal. This is Utah. I hope this, oh, now they'll use their turn signal after they just like blatantly go into my lane, then they use their turn signal. Okay, anyways, yeah, I think the engine does a really good job. But you know what? I'm just gonna say it right here. If you can afford the turbo, get it. It's a lot better. Like this is not bad at all. But you're really just gonna have to, like, you're gonna be wringing it out all the time. Whereas with that turbo engine, you're not gonna be like, you know, foot down all the time to get up to speed. Whereas this, I feel like you kind of have to get into it just a little bit more. And you don't lose anything by going for the turbo engine, right? It gets about the same amount of fuel economy, a little bit less around town, but pretty much the same. Towing capacity is higher, so you gain with towing capacity. Payload capacity is pretty much unaffected. And so it's like, yeah, it costs a little bit more, but like you don't really concede anything from a truck standpoint. You gain stuff, and yeah, the drivability is way better. So this engine's great, but yeah, I definitely think getting the turbo engine, and I mean, you can get that in the SEL Plus package, so you don't have to get the, you know, $40,000 limited. You can get like a mid $30,000 SEL Plus, and that'll have that engine. As for the rest of this Santa Cruz, I guess what I will say is it's pretty interesting to see kind of like the more baseline package, just the difference with material use. Like, you really do get quite a bit more when you go up to the higher packages with the Santa Cruz. Like, you know, material use on like the dash was so much nicer, the steering wheel, everything just looked a little bit better fit and finish wise, which obviously it's a higher package, but some automakers, like, they'll just give you like nicer seats and not really change all that much, and then they'll charge way more. Whereas with Hyundai, they're giving you a lot more with that limited package. And yeah, it costs a little bit more, but like you're getting so much value for the money. But again, this SEL is not bad by any means. Like, this is a great package. I mean, $30,000, and you get steering assistance, you get blind spot monitoring as well. Like, so you got really good safety tech at $30,000, all-wheel drive. You have a truck bed, you have a pretty decent payload capacity and towing capacity. I mean, 1,400 pounds for the payload, 3,500 pounds for the towing capacity. It's a really good value for what it is. Again, $30,000. Like, I mean, I review like little commuter cars that are $30,000, and they don't have like as much equipment as what this has. And this is a freaking truck with, I mean, well, some people might not consider it a truck because it's unibody, whatever. It has a truck bed, okay? It has a truck bed, it tows, and so yeah, I think this is a great value. But I guess I will leave you guys with saying, if you have the money to get at least the SEL Plus so you can get that turbocharged engine, I think it's worth the extra dough. To get the nicer interior, to get the turbocharged engine, you're not going to regret spending, what, the extra like $5 roughly to go for that. I think it's worth it. Now that's going to sum things up for our video on the 2022 Santa Cruz. And again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Ken Garf Hyundai here in Southtown for giving me some time with the Santa Cruz. Check out the inventory link below. I'll see all of you in the next video.